No other vegan pork belly is as good as this one, so let me show you how to make it. First, this isn't my recipe. I was actually tagged in this, and it's by a recipe creator called Veggie Anh. So I'll leave a link to her Instagram and website where you're going to go and see the actual recipe. Now, I made some changes, so I'll talk about those. But first, let's get moving. We're going to need some textured protein. In my version, I'm using textured crumbles and textured strips. Veggie Anh used a larger textured chicken, so hers is definitely going to come out a little bit different, but I'm going to use just plain textured protein and flavor it up myself. I was kind of hoping to be able to do this very similar to my bacon flavoring. Now, like I say, variation is key for everything, so I'm going to do 2 different flavorings for both different sizes. That way I can kind of get like a dark meat and light meat. Now, we're going to start with just a cup of water in each one of these, along with an even amount of soy sauce, liquid smoke, maple syrup, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, onion powder, and then for smoked paprika, I'm actually going to do a half a teaspoon for the large chunks and 1 teaspoon for the smaller, like the bits. And same with the beetroot powder. I'm going to use less in the larger pieces and more in the smaller pieces. I want those small pieces to be really dark. Now, lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit of sage and a little bit of clove into each one of these. It's just going to kind of up kind of that porky flavor. Now, all we have to do is just mix these up and add our chunks and strips. Mix those up, put a lid on them, and let them rest for about 20 or 30 minutes. And these are done and they look pretty good, but at this point we do want to kind of squeeze out some of that excess juice. Otherwise these are going to be way too juicy. So I'm just going to transfer these into a strainer and then just give them a squeeze. Now, not too much, but just enough to get out some of that excess juice. Now we want to do this to both the strips and the chunks, and this is going to be a mess. Again, I'm sorry. But in the end, it'll be worth it. You're going to end up with a better bite. So now that we have the meat portion done, let's take a look at the fat, which is going to be a combination of rice flour and tapioca starch. Now I'm just going to whisk those two together just to make it so that way there's no clumping or anything. And then we're going to add some coconut milk and water. Now, I'm just going to keep whisking until I get it very smooth. And then I'm going to turn on the heat, very low heat for what I'm doing. You can probably go like low medium if you want to speed up this process, but I'm trying to keep this kind of like a smooth texture. Now, I'm going to whisk throughout because once this starts to thicken, it starts to thicken pretty fast. And you're going to end up with like a really nice, stretchy, almost cheese-like consistency. And that's about where I stopped. Now, I want to split mine in half because what I want to try to do is add a little bit of flavoring to some of this. So I'm going to pull out that marinating broth and just add maybe like a tablespoon to it and then continue whisking that until we have, a pinkish side of fat mixture. Now for the skin, we're going to be using bean curd sheets or tofu skin. And I'm using just a small square dish that I found really it was completely unnecessary. Now we're going to start with the pink flavored side and just add enough to cover the bottom. And then I'm going to be using the textured protein crumbles to make like a thicker skin. Now I'm going to press those down into the fat and then add another layer of the flavored fat section. And that's going to be just a hair thicker than the original layer. And then I'm going to add the textured protein slices. Now, once those are all in, kind of jigsaw puzzled all of the pieces to make sure they fit really nice and smooth together. I'm going to add another big clump of that fat mixture, smooth it out, fold over the skin. I'm going to remove it from the dish and then trim off any of those excess pieces. Now, at this point, I'm just going to wrap it up in a little bit of parchment paper, some foil, and I'm going to toss it into a steamer. Now, I'm going to steam this for about 25 minutes. Now, when I'm steaming, I'm actually going to make a whole other version. I'm going to try to get a version that's closer to Veggie Ann's, just so I have something to compare it to. And by the way, this recipe didn't use all of those textured protein crumbles. You still have quite a bit left. So if you made this amount of it, you can actually kind of throw these into an air fryer for, just a few minutes until they crisp up. And essentially what you've made is bacon bits. Pretty cool, right? Steam them both 25 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor.
AG1 is comprehensive daily nutrition made powerfully simple. It's made up of 75 high-quality, whole food sourced ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, carefully curated to nourish all of the body's systems holistically. Now, I started saying last year that I was going to start taking my health more seriously, and I know a lot of you have noticed. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I feel better. I'm healthier. I'm running now. I'm doing yoga. I have so much energy. And AG1 has been a huge part in that health journey. Now, I drink AG1 about 10 minutes before my first meal of the day, every day. It has easily become one of my essential daily routines, and I love it. Now, one of the things that I'm focusing on right now is my gut health and digestion. I know you've heard me talk about it, and AG1 helps support that with its prebiotics, probiotics, and natural occurring enzymes that help bolster digestion and diversity of the gut microbiome for better absorption of key nutrients that support your body. And AG1 is NSF certified for sport, which is the gold standard for professional athletes who have to adhere to strict rules regarding supplements and nutritional products. Now, let's consumers know know that what's on the label is actually what's in the powder. And it tastes really good, I think, which for me that really helps the daily routine. So gang, go to athleticgreens.com/Saucestache to get started on your order. Athletic Greens is going to give you, my community, a free 1-year supply of immunity-supporting vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Athletic Greens, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for making AG1. It is a game changer for me.
Okay, it's been about 25 minutes, so these are done. I'm just gonna toss them right into the fridge and let them sit for at least 3 hours. Now, after the 3 hours, I just pulled them out and started to chop them up. Now you can see this version here, this one's mine. I love the marbling look on this. I mean, it's really giving me some ideas for the future. But then when I sliced it open, wow, I really love the marbling on this. It came out pretty good, and I actually decided to slice off like a bacon-like slice just to see how that would work. So I'm gonna use a nonstick pan, just a touch of olive oil, get that up to heat, toss these in, and then I'm just gonna toss them around for a few minutes, probably 5-7 minutes total, just until they kind of browned and got crispy on each side. I also added a pinch of salt and black pepper to these just to give them a little flavor outside of what they already are. Now, you probably wouldn't just serve them just like this. You would want to put them in like a sandwich, in something, in some sort of sauce or stir fry, but I really just wanted to give a taste just to see exactly how these came out. Now, after a few minutes of frying them up, you could see they look really good, like nice and golden brown. I just did the same thing to the other version, and you can see when I cut this one, there's a lot bigger fat cap. So I actually trimmed a little bit of that off because it was honestly a little ridiculous. I think if I were to do this again, I realized I kind of missed the instructions a little bit and kind of reversed the fat cap and meat side. But all in all, these are all done. They look really good. I mean, look at that. So I do want to try them plain, but I also want to try them with a little sauce, and I'm kind of working on something special right now that I'm excited to share with you pretty soon, but not yet. So now let's just see what Monica has to say.
That's really good.
I'm stoked about
Nailed
that.
it.
Okay, now let's try that one.
It's really good too.
Yeah, they're both really good. I don't know. I'm gonna dip this one now. I just want to give it a good dip. I mean, they're both really good.
They're both really good.
Which one do you think's the winner?
Yeah, it's really hard. I like this one.
Yeah? Yeah.
This one's really good. I mean, they're both really good. This one has a little bit more flavor.
Yeah.
This one has a bit more firmness to it.
Yep.
So if like this one just had a little bit more flavor, like this is the texture that I like the best, and then you just have to get it a little bit more flavorful, and it's perfect. Like the flavor's a little salty, a little like kind of smoky-ish flavor. The bite is definitely like snappy on the outside and also firm on the inside, but a little bit snappier on the outside.
Yeah, there's like a nice skin to it.
Yeah. That's how I would describe the flavor of this one.
They're both similar. I really thought there was going to be a huge difference. I will say with your first thought of like this one, the original, it's a better texture. I could have worked on my version a little bit better. But all in all, the original like Veggie Ann's version, or, you know, most of her version, the way she made it, I think it comes out a little bit better than when I added those texture crumbles. I think that kind of threw it off, made it a little bit softer than what I wanted. I was hoping that it would be like a really dense skin, but like Monica said, it actually made the skin a little bit more crispy or crunchy. And that's not what I was going for. So let's try the little bacon, the slices. I just want to see if this will bacon.
Okay.
So cheers.
This is bacony.
Yeah,
sure.
super bacony. That's pretty phenomenal bacon. And I think both of them will do just as well. But that's about it. I mean, this is good. This is the best vegan pork belly that I've had.
Yeah, both of these were really good. Top notch. Yeah, this was really good.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
Yeah,
Make some
I have a ton. Off this last little bite.